Daaim Shabazz with Chess Drum, and we're in Côte d'Ivoire. I have with me Grandmaster Maurice Ashley, who is the commentator of the event. And I've known Maurice for about 30 years, and finally we're here in Africa together. How did you enjoy the event?
I loved it. I think it was just so well run. The location was great. The view was magnificent, and all the details were just well taken care of. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better just to represent his first time here in Abidjan, in Côte d'Ivoire, in Africa.
So what impact do you think this tournament will make going forward?
I think it's impossible to say. I think that everything depends on the people here who plan their events, the kids. You never know. You know, when you drop that bucket in the ocean, you don't know what you're going to come out with. And I think that's what they did. They just decided to put something down and see what happens next. And whatever comes out of it will be based on the industriousness and the determination, the creativity of the people who were here and how they were inspired by the event.
Now, you actually did some community activities. You were playing some school kids, and I actually saw you playing soccer with them as well. What is the energy like of the people here in the Ivory Coast?
You know, a couple of things. First of all, the pictures you see generally we're doing media things, right? So
even like, the juggling.
You know, I'm playing football in my soccer as we call it, but in my suit. I would normally do that. That's not how you hang out with the kids. But we wanted to get a little shot of me, the local flavor. And also when I was playing the chess club here, we got a chance to go in and just interview them and all that. So I didn't really get the opportunity I wanted to here in Ivory Coast. I did much more of that in Ghana. Ghana, I really had a presence, but you know, the cameras weren't rolling then. And that's, in many ways I prefer that because I get to just hang, I get to chill and just try to have an impact. And in answer to your question, the energy is fantastic. The energy is off the scale. They appreciate every little bit, every crumb of knowledge is just so accepted. And they're waiting for more. They're hungry for more. And I get that urge, like, man, just drop me off here for a while. Give me a couple of years to see if I don't produce some monsters because they just want it so bad.
You think it's because of the newness of it all, or because they just naturally have that kind of energy, looking for something that's exhilarating, something that's enticing for them to participate?
Frankly, there are less opportunities here, less opportunities for distraction here, but there's so many other things going on in other places that a lot of kids might be like, yeah, chess, that's just another thing. But when you bring in, and I saw this when I taught kids in Harlem and Brooklyn, when you don't have a lot of outlets, any new outlet is latched onto like manna from heaven. And the folks, when they got chess and the bug is in them, and they're just like, this is something I want to do, and that passion just comes through, that shines through, that desire for more knowledge. And it's obvious. It's just obvious. I love the energy, and it makes me feel that much more motivated. It makes me feel young, quite frankly. As I want to go in there and really make a difference.
So what do you think needs to happen to follow this up and ensure that the momentum is kept going forward?
Well, frankly, I think it's going to be left to the local federations, those who saw the event and decide that stuff is happening here, would like to attract more events to their shores. You can't just sit back and expect others to bring it to you. You got to bring it yourself. You got to make it happen. But with an example like the Grand Chess Tour here, people are more excited now. People are like, wow, something really happened. Magnus Carlsen came to our shores. Thankfully, now it's happened. Now it's history. Now it's behind us. And those who are motivated for the future get to work.
Now, another question. This is a slightly different question. Amongst the players, did you hear any comments about how they felt about Côte d'Ivoire and possibly the growth of chess?
Well, I asked them, so they had to answer. Every one of them had to answer, as a matter of fact. And all of them said, this is fantastic, expanding chess, bringing it to a new audience. They get the vision. They get the vision. And to come to a place where there's a lot of excitement around it, but maybe not a lot of opportunity, and especially not to see the elite players, they get it. They know their impact. They can feel the impact. They're not going to come here every 2 months, that's for sure. They got busy schedules going around. But if you can give them more events to come to, I mean, I saw Hikaru, so go to South Africa. Wesley So also went. So they're saying this is some place we can explore, and I think the news is going to go back when you see how beautiful the place is and all the myth and nonsense that you hear about Africa, and you come and you go, wait a minute, this is not what I expected. This is not what the media tells me, and if I'm looking at. Because usually it's the bad news, usually it's the negatives that go on, and nobody highlights all the amazing things that are going on here. And I'm happy to be, this is my 7th country I visited in Africa. So not a lot, I still got more to go, but I'm happy to be going all around the place and getting to meet people.
So 20 years ago, approximately 20 years ago, you became a Grandmaster. I believe the front cover of Chess Life, May 1999, you were featured. And that was a very important event for not only us in the U.S., the black players in the U.S., but the entire African diaspora. Now, in the U.S., there's always these questions about who's going to be the next talent to rise. What do you think that needs to be done to raise that talent to get to the level, not elite level, but just Grandmaster level?
Grandmasters are pretty elite, by the way, but, and that shows how much work it is just to get to that level. Only 3 black players have followed me since then. It's such a big cultural step that you have to make on multiple levels. First of all, you want to broaden the base. That's already a big challenge because you have to have the resources to be able to get those teachers who are going to go into the communities and get kids playing chess, get them excited, and maintain their interest. You can't go in and do 4 lessons and think that they're going to have chess players who are going to just study all the time. It's not going to work. You're going to need teachers who are there a year, 2, 3, 4 years on the ground. So that's already one challenge. But the people who live in the communities, they want to. We do have some teachers. You got to train those teachers. So that presents a very big challenge, very big. Because if people are not making money, then they're going to have to do something else to make a living. Exactly. And if you're going to incentivize them, it's going to be about the dollars that allow them to do this kind of work and remain passionate about it. So I think that's really the first big thing. The second thing is identifying the talent. It's not everybody's going to be a chess player. I don't care how many people you pick. GMs are not a dime a dozen. There's a certain set of characteristics that are required to get to that GM level, to be able to identify the young player who's got A, the tactical ability that they just somehow the moves just come to them. They see the board and they just get it. B, the tenacity. When you lose, you got to be ready to say, well, you know what, I'm ready to go right back in there. You're not putting me down when I lose. I'm not staying down. I want to come back and win. That's a very important quality a lot of people don't estimate properly. Another quality is the work ethic. You can be as talented as you want. If you're not ready to put work in, you're not going to make it. So you bring those qualities, and there are more. I mean, the determination that you need, the fact that you know it's a long road, so you just can't figure you're going to just do it. All that comes together in one person to get to, and even then you don't become a GM. You know how many people in the U.S. with tons of advantages quitting chess in droves. So it's not an easy thing. The GM title is not going to be easy, and so I don't know, man. It's going to take a large-scale, long-scale investment, identifying that talent first of all, and then working to nurture it over the long run.
On a much lighter note, I know that I saw you at the Reggae Club last night. And you were getting your groove on. What kind of plans do you have for the rest of your time here in Côte d'Ivoire? I'm
not here for much longer, just another day. We're going to go to the beach and maybe go do a little bit of shopping. But my intention, as always, is to return to Africa again and again. This was my 7th country, as I mentioned, my 4th trip to Africa. I've been down to East Africa and Kenya and Rwanda. I was in Southern Africa with Namibia, South Africa, and South Madagascar. Now a trip to Ghana on the West Coast and Abidjan as well. So, you know, I'm bouncing around, picking my spots. There's other places to discover and other chess federations to try to help. I'll be back.
Well, Maurice, we're very proud of you in the African diaspora, and we're very appreciative of all the things that you've done in our community, of course, in the U.S. and also throughout the globe in your your commentary was par excellence. And we look forward to the next event. In fact, when is the next event you're going to commentate?
My next event will be the next one on the Grand Chess Tour, Zagreb, Croatia, in June. I'm looking forward to a new country as well.
All right, well, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maurice. This is Daaim Shabazz, and we're signing off.